everybody, Kelvin here, and today's video is going to focus on creating a ASAv home lab for studying or just familiarizing yourself with the ASAv and its features and whatnot. This is going to be using just one program. It's going to be using VMware. And that's all. It's not going to be using GNS3 or any other virtual simulation software, just VMware alone. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually do this. Apologies for not creating any videos during the last few months. I've been really busy with work commitments and certifications. However, I am back now and I plan on creating more content in relation to Cisco, obviously working for Cisco, and based around the security market, so the Cisco product security product portfolio. So look out for those and subscribe. So the topology that you're looking at on screen is something that I just put together quickly to kind of just give you a visual overview of what we're going to be actually doing today. So it involves the ASAv, so you will need to have that software downloaded, preferably the VMware OVA version. And then it involves 3 virtual networks and your physical PC, in which we will use to connect to the ASA. So just touching a little bit more on the topology before we get started. On the left side we can see VMnet 2. It's a host only adapter. I'm going to go through all this as we do it, but this is intended to be the inside network of the ASAv. And then we can have, it's optional, you don't really need if you don't want, but we've got VMware 3, which is host only as well, and this is going to be simulating a DMZ. And we also then have VMnet 8, which is then going to be simulating the outside connectivity, and this is actually going to be using the NAT adapter. So basically everything from the inside of VMnet 2 and DMZ can communicate outside to the internet, while we've still got connectivity to the actual ASA through our physical PC. And what we'll do is we'll try and set up ASDM so that you can access the virtual ASA via ASDM that way. So without further ado, we'll get started. So let me just bring up so I've already got the ASAv installed. I've not messed, this is just as it comes default, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change a few parameters on here just for the purpose of this lab. So we're going to edit the virtual machine, and obviously the memory depends on what your actual machine can handle. For me, I'm using quite a powerful PC, so just for this lab we're going to set the memory at 4 gig. Okay. So we'll leave the hard disk size as it is. The file it's using is the ASAv ISO. Then the adapters is the important bit, which I spoke about. So we need to set the inside, outside, and DMZ. So we'll start by creating the host only VMnet 2. So let's have a look here. We can create that there, and then we'll create the natted, in fact, which one's a nat? I might need to change a few things on this, but we'll see how we get on. So we'll just leave that as NAT for now, and that's going to use my current NAT adapter, whichever's been configured. And then we need to do host only VMnet 3. So okay, so that's that one done. And we'll leave the other ones to not connected. I'll just leave those for now. We're just okay on that, and I just want to check my actual virtual networks I've got configured. So we'll just let this load. As you can see here, we have in fact 2 host only ones configured. So we did according to the topology, so we can activate VMnet 3 and 2 as the host only networks, which we'll do now. And as we can see, the NAT is actually using VMnet 8, which is correct. So in my case, it's using 192.168.222.0 subnet. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll add network, and we'll go with VMnet 2, and we'll change it to reflect the IP addresses on this topology. So we'll do VMnet 2 10.0/24 and VMnet 3 17.0/24. Okay, so let's change this to 10/24, and this is going to be the inside. So you could have the ASA actually assign or the virtual network itself assign DHCP to everything that connects to that, but we're not going to do that, so we'll take that off. Okay, so we'll apply that one. I think that's okay for now. We'll just give it a second to do what it needs to do in the background. Yeah, so it's applying it there. And then we'll do the same with VMnet 3, because as we can see, it's not in here either. Does normally take a bit of time when you're actually bringing up new virtual networks when you're using VMware. Okay, so we'll add another network now, and this one is VMnet 3 for the DMZ. And again, we'll change the IP address to match what we actually did on the topology. So this one is 17.0/24. Again, we'll turn off DHCP. And okay, so it looks like VMnet 1 is already using that subnet. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll what else have we? So we're using 10.0 for the inside, so we'll use 20.0 for the DMZ. So we'll go ahead and we'll apply that, and it's a host only as well, as I've already mentioned. So we'll let that do its thing. And what we'll do before actually connecting with this physical machine is we'll verify that the ASA can boot up, and we'll verify the interfaces as well. So we'll do that now once it's finished doing what it needs to do. Okay, seems to still be busy. Okay. There we go. So we have, so if you just go back to edit settings, we now have the NAT network, VMnet 3 and VMnet 2 connected, so that's fine. And what we'll do is we'll tell you what we can do. We'll slap in the network now for the physical device to connect to. So this is the bridge network here. So we'll connect this one as well. So we've got 4 adapters in total. Okay. And now we'll go and power it on and make sure that everything's working as should be. Yeah, so we'll go with the first one. We'll just let that boot up. And in terms of the ASAv image, for those that are watching this, please don't be commenting asking for me to send you the image, because that's just not going to happen. To actually get the image, you need to have valid credentials to download from the cisco.com website. So again, we'll just wait for it to do its initial reboot before it finishes, and then we'll just verify the interfaces, and we'll configure the IP addresses on those interfaces to reflect this topology. So we'll do in fact, I'm not putting on this topology for the ASA interfaces. However, we'll do, just to keep things simple, we'll use .254 for the interfaces, all from the physical PC to the inside and the DMZ as well. And then that one we'll just leave as is, because that should actually acquire an address via DHCP if I remember correctly. And if you'd like the topology sending via, email or whatever, just drop me a comment and I'll be happy to send you that on for reference. Okay, so now we're in, so we'll just go ahead and jump into the firewall, and we'll do a show interface detail. In fact, no, we'll do show. In fact, show interface stats. In fact, let's just do a show run. So we're using, my particular version is 9.5 interim 2, and then we've got, let's just go up a little bit there. So we've got gigabit Ethernet 0001 all the way through to the management. So what we're gonna do now is we'll see show interface detail. You can't do. So let me just take a look at this. So the MAC address for gig 00 ends in 268. So what we'll do is we'll just double check this MAC address by going into the settings of the ASAv, so we can see which one is assigned. So this MAC address for VMnet 2 is 77, and like I said, gig 00 is 2681. So let's try find that one. 2681. So gig 00 is the NAT interface. So that's the outside. So what I'm just going to do on my little piece of paper that I've got in front of me is just write that down so I don't forget. So gig 00 is actually the NAT interface, and then we'll just note the MAC addresses like I say while we're on here. So the MAC address ends in 2677 for the inside, so we'll find out what interface that is, and then we'll also check for the DMZ, which is 268B. So we'll go ahead, close that, and we'll continue down the list. So gig 01 interface is 268B, so that's the DMZ. So that's gig 01, and then gig 02 is 2695. And we forgot to look at the bridged interface, so we'll have to go back to that. Gig 03 is 269F, so that's not inside. 04 is 26A9. 26B3. Seven. So 2677 is the management interface. So I mean, we could leave it as that, but ideally we want to have the management interface as the actual physical computer. So let's just go back onto the settings, and we need to verify the bridged one as well, which is 2695, which I've wrote down, so we'll find that as well. So what we'll do is we'll change the management, which is this, to bridged, and we'll see if this, wait a minute, was that the right one? Sorry, that was the wrong one. That's not. Okay. Yep, okay. So what we'll do is we'll change this one to bridged, so the 77. Okay. So that one's bridged, and we'll change this one to host only 2, and that should be better. So we'll do that now. So that means the management one now is the physical. So I'll just write that down on my little piece of paper, and then we'll verify now the so 2695 were the one that we're looking for. So so 2695 is gigabit Ethernet 02. Okay. So a quick review, the physical machine is going to be using the management interface. The inside interface is using gigabit 02, DMZ is using gigabit 01, and the NAT interface is using gig 00. Okay. So now that that's done, what we can do is we can start to configure the interfaces. So we'll start with the management 00. Oops. Numlock, and we'll do IP address. Let me just think what I'm on here. Bridged. So I could do IP address. In fact, we'll change that network. In fact, let's try to think what I'm using on my lab. I think I'm using, I'll tell you what we'll do, 192.168, and I think we are using let's do 1.250/24, and we'll do, just change security level to 100 so you can access it. Name is management, we'll do MGT. Description is management, sorry. So, and we'll do a no shutdown, and then we'll go to interface gigabit 02, which is the inside, and we'll assign this an IP address of 192.168.10.254/0. no shut. Security level inside theoretically would be 100. Name if, we'll call it inside, and description inside, we'll call it inside net for inside network. And did I do a no shutdown? Yes, I did. So we'll go on to the NAT interface gig 00, and this should theoretically pick up an IP address. If we do IP address DHCP, security level will be 0, name if, we'll call this outside, and link to outside, and we'll do a no shut, and hopefully that gets an IP address. And last but not least, we'll go on to do the DMZ, which is gig 01, IP address 192.168, and we'll change this to 20.254/24, name if DMZ, set to 0, we'll change it to 50. Description DMZ, no shut, and I think that's fine. So we'll do a show IP, is it show interface IP brief, that's the one. So let's have a look what we've configured. So gig 00 has picked up a DHCP address, which is nice. We've got gig 01, which is the DMZ configured, up. We've got gig 02, which is the inside network configured, and last but not least, we have the management, which is where the physical computer will connect to. So that seems all well and good at the minute. So what we'll do is we shall let's see if we can connect to 192.168.250. I think we called it. See if this works. Let's do. Sorry, my apologies. I've not configured. We'll go back to configure the HTTP server in order to actually connect to the ASAv silly me. So we'll do that now. So HTTP server enable, and we'll do HTTP, and we're going to be connecting from the physical device. We'll do 192.168.1.0 255.255.255.0, and it's going to be I've not set the name for management. Name if we'll come back out of there, and we'll do HTTP 192.168.1.0/24, and there we go. Management's coming up now. So basically this is telling the ASA to allow access via HTTPS from any IP address within the 1.0 network, coming from the or coming in from the management interface. So we'll go ahead and we'll try that again now. Let's just do it HTTPS and see if we can get this working. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's do 192.168.1.250. That doesn't seem to be. Nope. Let me just verify the configuration. Show run. I've not got my pipe command on this. Let's just see if I can find it. Nope. I'm using virtual. Alright, okay. I think I'm gonna. I'll just do show run HTTP. Turn caps lock off. So yeah, we're allowing that. 92.168.252. Okay, I'll just change my network. So while I stop to change the IP address of the physical machine, I realized that we actually don't need to do anything to the physical machine's IP address. The reason being is that the host-only adapters that we configure, we should be able to access those from the actual physical machine itself. So for instance, the IP address that we configured on the VMnet2 inside interface of .254, we should actually be able to access that from our physical machine. So what we're actually going to do is we'll take off the management interface. So we'll do let's click back onto this, and we'll just do no IP address, and we'll shut that down, and we need to do no HTTP 192.168.1.0/24 from management, and that's just telling us that no longer will this network have be able to access the HTTPS services. But what we want to do in order so that we can access it is we want to allow the virtual network 2, the inside network, to be permitted to access the HTTPS services. So what we'll do is we'll do HTTPS HTTP 192.168, and we'd give this network 10.0 /24, and this is coming from the inside. So now we should actually be able to access from our physical machine this ASAv. And the reason this is quite a good way to do it is that you don't actually need to knock yourself off your own network just to play around with the ASAv. What you can do is you can actually stay on the network that you're actually on, configure management access from the inside virtual network, and also provision other devices within VMnet2 connected to that same adapter to players inside hosts as well. Then all traffic could be routed through the VMNet 8. So let's just go back onto the topology. So all traffic could from inside here, so we could add like a virtual machine to players like an inside host, and we could do the same with the DMZ. And what we can do is totally just imagine that your physical PC is not there because it's connecting to this theoretically, and then all traffic from here could be routed to pass through the NAT outside interface out to the internet and whatever. So what we'll do is we'll try connect now. So 192.168.1.254. In fact, no, 1.254 was it? It was 1.250. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't. Got that many IP addresses in my head, I forget. So it's 10.254. There we go. So now it presents us with the ASDM option to download. So we'll download that. We've not set any username or password, so we should just be able to log in. So once that's downloaded, we'll install that. And it's going to tell me that I can't install it because, let me just try that again. I didn't read the, so I need to install Java. Okay, so let me just see if I can web start it. No, let's just download Java then. And again, situations like this, I can actually stay on my own network to download and do stuff like this while also connecting to the virtual environment, which is really cool, other than disconnecting your physical network. So I'm just gonna go ahead and install Java real quick. And then we'll give it a go again. Okay, so Java's now installed. So we'll go ahead and we'll try again. And hopefully we don't run into any more issues. There we go. So I'm just going to pause this video while I change the location of the install for myself. Okay. So back now, and now that ASDM's installed, we should be able to type the IP address of 10.254, no username and password because we've not set one, and we should then be able to access the virtual ASA that we've created. We'll just click continue on the certificate information, and as we can see now it's loading up, and there we go. So it's telling us now that our configured management interface has no IP address because we we took it off and we shut it down. And then we've got the IP addresses here. So now you can make configurations in ASDM and play about and do what you need to do just by using VMware Workstation, and no need to use things such as GNS3 or any other simulation tool. So that's all from me for today on this video, and I hope you've enjoyed watching me configure this using VMware Workstation. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to drop me a comment. And yeah, look out for my other videos that are up and coming. Thanks for watching.